So first of all, why would you guys even want to use a credit card? I mean, why do you think college kids get credit cards? What is it that you guys need that you can't just pay for out of your pocket?
Because we don't have the money sometimes.
So Faith has got something that she knows she wants to get when she goes off to college.
I know that I am gonna have to get my own laptop, and we were just talking about this before we came in, and I was like, am I gonna get a loan from like Best Buy, who I buy my laptop from, or am I gonna put it on a credit card, or like what? And so it's always like, there's definitely that. Like, you are probably going to need, a credit card or some type of loan while you're in college. Unless you're, just filthy stinking rich. And I don't think any of us are really.
The reason people get credit is they want something, but they don't have the
but you
money
don't have the money
for
to
it.
pay for it. But you need it. You feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go to the bank and get them to give you a loan, or you have this nice little credit card that charges you 3 or 4 times more than the bank would.
And
it's like borrowing money. So the interest is what they charge you to borrow their money.
Just times that by 16%, and that's about what you're going to pay. Not exactly though, because you have to remember you're going to keep on paying the minimum balance. Well, guess what? If you pay the minimum balance, it can take up to. What guess would you guys have? I'm interested to hear. How long do you guys think it would take to pay off? Just using the minimum balance. Say.
Well, do you guys know what the minimum balance is? Do you understand all? Okay.
Say you had $1,000 credit card. You have it maxed out. You have 1,000 out of 1,000. You borrowed $1,000, and that's your max. Usually, the max on that, or the minimum payment on that, $1,000 max, is about $30 a month. Okay. Well, guess what? About $20 of that is going towards interest to pay for your credit card. The other $10 is being used to pay down your principal. So now you owe $990.
And your principal is that $1,000. So.
Yeah, your principal is just your original loan agreement. That's your max amount. Like your credit card, you had a $1,000 limit. That's what we call your principal. If it moves up a couple thousand, say it went to $3,000, your principal balance is $3,000. Well, if you only have $1,000, that's what your minimum is on it. And then your minimum payments are just basically figured out by the interest rate that you're accruing. You can always call me. I have a loan calculator, and I can look that up for you, kind of tell you before you go and get one. I can kind of tell you, the interest on this is going to be about $60, $70 a month out of that $100 payment. It might change your mind.
So did you hear what he said? He said on that $1,000, you're paying the bank, the credit card company, $30 a month. 20 of that they get to keep. It's going towards your interest. So you're really only paying $10 a month towards that $1,000. So every month you're paying the bank $20 a month to borrow that $1,000.
So that's going to take you about 8 years to pay off? If you have that, was it 13? Higher than that? Oh goodness, I thought you said it.
16 to 20 years.
Okay.
Depending on
for buying a laptop at the age of 18.
That's paying it off minimum balance. Minimum
$30.
payments, guys. The best thing to do, and I can tell you because I deal with loans, never make the minimum payments. If you eventually get a credit card, always make it at least $5 or $10 more. Shoot, if you can throw more on it, go ahead. That looks good to us. That means that you can pay more than what you're actually going out there and spending, which is called DTI, or debt to income. All right. Credit cards will be based off that, your applications, all that stuff, and getting loans will be too. And that goes into doing that. You don't ever want to have a whole bunch of credit card debt. It looks bad to lenders because it's showing that you have all this money you could use. Sure, you might only have $500 out of a $5,000 credit card. You might have $4,500 available. But to us, that's like, well, she can go out and spend $4,500 and max that credit card out. So credit cards, what I'm saying are the worst type of lending. It's something you don't want to get into. Always call your bank and get a bank loan first. We will set you out payments, and that way you know how long it's going to take to pay it off. Usually about 36 months, 24 months, and then it's paid. You don't have to worry about it. And you know if you can afford it or not. If you keep on adding on money to that credit limit, keep accepting those approvals to raise it, guess what? You're going to be in a hole very quick that you won't be able to get out of. You're going to have to call mom and dad and say, Mom and Dad, I got a credit card and I can't get out of it. And then you're going to feel real embarrassed. And it's not fun. So don't ever get something that you can't afford. My brother did this. He's the worst one. He went out and got a credit card. Guess what? He didn't have a job. How do you pay something if you don't have a job? You can't.
Well, how did he get a credit card without having a job?
Easy. You don't have to have a job. You can put down that you have student loans coming in or grants. They include that as income. They're tricky.
Oh.
They're good.
My best friend has a credit card, and we were at camp, and this was the night before we were leaving, and she decided that she wanted to pay for the luggage fees before she got to the airport online so that she didn't have to worry, there, didn't have to take out more time. And she comes running into our dorm room and is like, oh my gosh, they say that my credit card is not working and it has no money on it. And I was like, well, did you max it out? And she was like, what does that mean? So she didn't know that there was a max on the credit card because her parents never told her. So she had maxed out her credit card and, basically like, well, if you didn't have, anyone there for you, you would be stuck in Michigan because you wouldn't have any money to get,
Or your luggage would be
or
stuck
your
in
luggage would be stuck in Michigan, yeah. So it's very real, and that's why, I want to have this session because I've realized how, a lot of teenagers don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And
Clueless.
yeah, so.
Basically, if you stay away from credit cards and get your mom and dad to get a loan with you, you'll establish good credit history and good repayment history. It'll kind of teach you how to do stuff.
Like accounts yet. I don't know. I'm going to pretty soon. I'm going to try to get a car, but.
Yeah.
So can you explain to them why would they even need a good credit history? What is?
Well, say after college, you're getting a house. You have to have a good credit history.
You cannot front $200,000 for a house. You have to get loans out. So.
Yeah, not very many people in this say here's a $200,000 check, which is okay. That's why banks exist. We know that. I mean, we're people too. I borrowed money from the bank and I work there. It happens, cars and stuff like that, and that's what we're there for. We're going to make money off of it because that's what we're in money to do. But we're not going to gyp you either. We don't charge just an outrageous rate. Car rates right now are about $6.99 to $7.99. They're not near what credit cards are. Which brings me to the next subject. Having good loan history usually starts with, guess what? Student loans. Those are the easiest loans to get. By far the easiest loans to get. I get this question a lot. People always come to the bank and ask for a bank loan. And bank loans are great, but not for student loans. And let me tell you why. The government offers a very low rate, which is usually around 5.25%, 5.5% right now. I looked not too long ago, and that's through the government. And all you have to do, I think, is you have the U.S. EDU, U.S. Education, something like that. And you can get a student loan, and it's around 5.5%. That will actually start your credit history once you start to repay it back. And that's probably what a lot of you guys will get your first loan history with, is that. What you want to do is just make sure before you get enrolled in college, kind of price that out. Have mom and dad look with you, see what U.S. Education is doing with their loans, see what the rates are. There's also Sallie Mae and a few others. I would not go with the bank to get a student loan. The reason is also government specializes in a deferment plan. When you're in school, guess what? You don't have to pay that loan back. Because most of you guys will not have a job. If you do, it'll be part-time, which is understandable because college it's a big load. You don't want to be working full-time. It'll drive you crazy. So you want something that'll be in-school deferred. Look for that. And then something that has a lower interest rate. It'll probably more than likely, I would say at least 90% chance be the U.S. Ed. It could be something like Sallie Mae or I think Freddie Mac might be out of business now. I'm not sure. But if you look on the internet, you'll find tons of stuff. I see stuff advertised all the time about student loans. So make sure you get with your mom and dad before you sign paperwork, okay? Kind of ask them, is this in-school deferment? Is it a cheap interest rate compared with others? And if you have any questions, feel free to call me. I'll look it up for you, and I'll go over it with you and tell you. There's a lot of stuff in fine print on those, too, so be careful, okay? The good thing about the government is they usually won't gyp you. They're pretty well rounded because they're wanting to further the country's education because, as you guys know, we're below par on a lot of stuff right now, in our education. We have a lot of high school dropouts and college dropouts too. So they want to see you guys succeed, and they don't want you to be in a lot of debt, which is great. So take advantage of that. Do you guys have any questions on bank loans? No? Good. If you ever do, call me. I'm always there. Be happy to go over it with you.
And if you ask your parents, like, your parents know this stuff too.
Faith had an
So
eye opener because one month she had to write all of our bills, pay all of our bills.
I did
and
everything.
she looked at what came in and what went out. And I'm going to tell you, I said, let's go to the movies. She said, we don't have money to go to the movies.
Yeah. She was like, we are not going to the movies. Are you crazy? No. And I would actually, that was a really good learning experience for me, because before that, I didn't really like budget my money from my job very well. And especially now that I have a car and I can go out and I can, I have a debit card, I can go buy whatever I want, so like it's really important when you have that freedom to know how to handle it. And my mom has taught me everything, and it's been very good. So.
Ask your parents. They'd be more than happy to help you guys. That way they know what's going on too. If they have any questions, have them call me.
Yeah.
I just don't want you guys to do something, because once you're locked in, you're locked in. You cannot get out.
And a lot
So
of
be
times
careful.
parents don't talk to their kids about this
Mhm.
because, we have been raised that you don't talk about money like that. But
Taboo.
yeah, you don't talk about, I have this much credit card debt or I have this much in loans. It's just not something you tell your kids because you don't want them to stress out about your family's financial situation. But I think that we as parents, that's something that we do that does not benefit you guys. So just ask your parents, can I write the bills 1 month?
Or can I at least, look? Like, she made a whole little spreadsheet for me and everything, and it was awesome. You guys will learn a lot from it. So.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that later on about budgeting, because you'd be surprised there's lots of expenses in college that more than likely your proceeds will be from loans and grants and hopefully scholarships. All that stuff's going to be in one bundle, and guess what? When it's gone, it's gone. It's not there anymore. I can assure you that. It's happened to me lots of times. Carrying cash instead of debit cards, and the reason I put this on here is, what's wrong with that? Did any of you guys know what's wrong with carrying cash instead of debit cards in college? Exactly. Can you get your cash back?
No. I got $50 stolen from me my freshman year at school. I don't ever carry cash with me ever again.
When you're in lectures in those big rooms, it's easy to have somebody come over there and snatch your purse. More likely girls than guys. Guys, they're not going to reach my back pocket and steal cash, but don't carry cash if you're going to class or something like that. Keep cash in a vault, something like that. You cannot get cash back. Maybe you say, that guy stole my cash. Their officer's going to say, can you prove it? Do you have videotape? But something we can prove, guess what? If you use your debit card and say they went to Oklahoma the weekend, had a big party and all that stuff, and spent all this money, and we know for a fact you're in Arkansas, guess what? We can dispute it, and we can go after them. So it goes all the way back to having good practices with your debit card. Use your debit card. It's your friend as long as you use it right. And that's something that we can always go through and look through video camera and stuff too. We can't go through and look at different banks and say, well, they took my customers' cash in Bank of America. We can't do that. But we can petition Bank of America and say, well, somebody used our customer's debit card. We want to get a picture of that person. We want it over here. And then I can give it to you, and you can kind of see who's been stealing your money. So be careful when you're carrying cash. Don't do it if you don't have to. Some places only take cash. Sure, that's fine. Take a little bit. Don't take $100 though if you only need 20 or 15. You see what I'm saying? There's lots of thefts in colleges. Lots of it. And then fraud. I can be a victim. That's what I usually hear. I never thought this could happen to me. I've never had anything happen like this in my life. It happens every day, I can assure you. I have a stack of paperwork on my desk, and I get back, and it's mostly fraud, unfortunately. It happens all the time to the nicest people usually. People like you guys who will be your first year in college. You'll have your debit card somewhere, and somebody comes and swipes it, and you notice my debit card's gone, which is what you were talking about earlier. Call us. Let us know. As soon as you see something's gone, let us know. That's the best way to fight fraud. Keep a debit card at where you know it is at all times. You want to lock it up in the safe, you want to be that safe, that's good for you. As long as you know where it's at, that's fine with us.
Never be too overcautious.
Yep.
With your money.
Especially with a dorm mate. You don't know who that person is. You don't know where they've been. You don't know what they've done. They might be the sweetest person on earth, but they could very well be planning to take your debit card one night and go for a jolly ride. So, be careful with that.